Now, let's welcome our first guests. Selma Arts Center is on a roll with popular titles so far in 2019. First Curious Incident, and now A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, which opens March 22nd. Let's welcome stars Randy Kohlruss and Taylor Delgado.
It's good to see you, Donald.
Thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So, Gentleman's Guide was a really big deal on Broadway a couple of years ago.
Yes, it was.
What for both of you, what was your reaction when you found out that Selma nabbed this title in just a couple years later and was going to be able to do the premiere for the Valley? Taylor, what did you think?
I remember watching the Tony Award performance when they did I Decided to Marry You, and I don't keep up with Broadway too much, but I remember seeing this song and I'm like, I need to know more about this musical, and I really started listening to the music and getting to know the story. So when I heard that Selma was going to be doing this production, I just had to jump on that chance. It's a really great show with a lot of great characters and music, and I mean the costumes are fantastic as well.
So it has a pretty peculiar title, you have to admit. Randy, what's the love and what's the murder?
Okay.
And who's the gentleman?
The gentleman. Let's start there. So, A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder is about Monty Navarro, who is in love with Sabella, where's the love. Unfortunately, she only marries men who, elevate her position in status or whatever. So she, fortunately for him, he finds out that he is in line for a large inheritance and an earlship. Unfortunately for him, however, there are 8 other relatives newly found in his way. So because absolute power corrupts absolutely, he begins to murder them all. So there's the murder. In the sake of love, I suppose.
So, and that's a lot of murder, right?
Yeah, it's certainly a lot of murder.
And so we should say that this is set in
it's 1900s.
Okay, so kind of Victorian times.
Yes.
So, and it was a time where social class and standing, that was a really big and important deal. If you didn't have social class and standing, you might be starving on the street, right?
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
So I guess the really fun thing about this show, I mean, there are a lot of fun things, but for you, Randy, is that the character you play is actually 8 different characters.
Yes, it is that whole family that he has been adopted into, so to speak. Yes, I'm all 8 of his family members, the Dysquith family.
Okay,
yes.
So you essentially have to die a lot.
Yes, I die 8 times over.
And that's got to be tough. I mean, I have always wondered, is it hard to die once in a show, but to have to die 8 times, that's got to be...
It is a bit nerve-wracking.
That's got to be a challenge.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about these relatives you play.
Well, I have, there's many, of course, I won't go through them all, but largely is the present Earl, Lord Adelbert. He is a gluttonous ne'er-do-well who hates his wife and hates the poor. He does not understand the poor. Why don't they just be rich?
Sounds like a charming guy.
Yes, it is. I get inspired by Donald Trump a lot for that one.
Oh, okay.
But as there are others like Henry Dysquith, who is a countryman.
Okay, so give us some Henry.
Henry, well, he would be very happy to see you, Donald. He would like to show you his honey shack. He is an affection for beekeeping and, other men out in the country, let's say that. Yes.
And what else?
Well, we've got one more I'll do for you is Lady Hyacinth, who, well, she's a bit long-winded and very posh. She actually runs a lot of charities. She'd like to plug one for you if you mind. It's Limping Lepers of India. Yes, and you can find her at www.ladyhyacinthfoundation.uk.com.org.
It sounds like she's got the most current public relations you can have, right?
Of course she does. She likes to keep up with the time.
So, while you're busy playing all of these different characters, you're just playing one character, right?
Right,
okay.
yes.
So tell us about Sabella.
Well, Sabella is one of Monty, who is kind of the main protagonist of the show, one of his love interests, and definitely is very contrast to the other woman in the show, which is Phoebe. They have a lot of different contrasting personalities, not only in the costumes, but in the way that they stand, and the way that they sing, and the way that they talk. It's been really fun for me. Sabella is completely different than any other role that I've ever had. I'm normally playing, you know, Fiona, the princess, or Sarah Brown, the missionary.
Right.
So it's fun to be bad. I love it.
So, Randy, it sounds like you have to move really quickly in this show.
Yes.
What is your quickest costume change?
My quickest costume change out of about 16 is probably around 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, what does Lady Hyacinth wear? What is she?
She wears a bustier and all this, the big bottom and all this. She has got a wig, but she also has different headpieces for every part of the country around the world that she wears. So she goes there, in the sense of wardrobe. She does have a very large décolletage.
I see. So lots of moving parts.
Yes, a lot of moving parts.
In this production. So to nab this role, I mean, that's like one of the most sought after roles of the year, right?
Yes.
In terms of comedy.
I saw a Watch Mojo actually that had the 10 hardest roles, and that ranked in around number 6. So it's. I have nightmares.
And so, are you like in training right now, or how are you preparing?
Well, yeah, I do a lot of work outside of rehearsal. Actually, I do a lot of just walking around as different people, and you don't get a lot of time, obviously, to switch in between. So it's the switching that I work on a lot outside of it with other cast members.
So, Taylor, a show like this is really well known in New York.
Yes.
It's kind of like a theater lover's show. Is it hard to kind of sell your friends and family and people in Selma?
I think, at least with my friends and family, once they hear the storyline, it definitely gets them interested. It is a Valley premiere, so that also will draw some interest down to Selma and to get audience members in those seats.
Well, it is one of the most anticipated shows of the season. Tell us again, when does it open and how long does it run?
It's going to be opening on March 22nd and then going through March 30th at Selma Arts Center.
And so that's not very many performances, so you have to kind of plan ahead and get your tickets ahead of time.
Tickets are on sale online, and you can also join our Facebook event page as well.
Well, great. Well, thank you for joining us today, Taylor and Randy and Lady Hyacinth and all these other folks.